Dahmer.
Should we hit all the other movie stuff? Oh yeah, let's do Dahmer.
The Dahmer documentary. So, this weekend, I was browsing Twitter, and like a whole bunch of people was like, "Oh my God, they released the Dahmer documentary. We're seeing scenes from the movie. This movie's a mockery and disrespect to the black community. They're making money off the deaths of." All I can say is, I hope that the victims and the families, even today, got at least some of the money from this movie. I think that's
Who
fair.
made this movie?
I have no clue. I just thought about that right now, but let's see. Dahmer,
It wasn't Netflix?
It was Netflix. I'm pretty sure it's a Netflix original. Netflix original. David Jacobson.
Oh, you're looking up the actual person. I was just talking about Netflix. So Netflix made it.
Netflix made it. I was looking at the director.
Okay.
But yeah, the movie's called
people
Dahmer
didn't.
Monster.
They probably didn't pay those people for using their likeness. They almost 100% didn't. Why would they?
Mm-hmm.
Why would they? They can get away with it.
And the show had a very. The thing is, the show had such a focus on the victims, though. Like it was like Dahmer and the victims' families were the main characters, and his neighbor who was a black woman who was like, she was trying to expose him for over a year, and it was just like, fuck off. She was constantly
That's always
like,
what it
watching
is,
him
dude.
and, like, trying to help his victims out who were trying to escape and shit like that. And the cops were just like.
I'm just not a fan of these genres of storytelling that use the trauma of groups of people as the story, like as the draw. Why on earth would I be drawn to hearing or watching someone's trauma be displayed in front of me?
And my thing is, they didn't really make a mockery of it. Like, I felt like, in fact, it had such a sympathetic take on the victims, and to the point where it showed all the evil they went through just by the system.
Then why is it called Dahmer?
I mean, because it's about him. They go over his whole life. They go over everything that made him the way he was. They go over like his family, how they enabled him, and how they just ignored his behavior and just gave him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
how
he's
society
the draw.
gave him the benefit of the doubt. He's the draw, no doubt. I'm not saying like he is the draw. He's the main character. He's the main focus. It's his story. But they really focused in on the victims heavily.
But how can they be a focus if... And you can look it up, you can see... Yeah, you can see, like, it's probably reported on. But how can it be about the families? They're just using them as a commodity. They probably didn't pay them for their likeness. They didn't ask for their discretion. They didn't ask, can we include this? Can we include that? Most likely not. We can always do the the research on it. I'm sure that would have been reported on, though. I haven't seen any of the reports. They use Dahmer as the main draw. People are going to see it as not as a family movie, not as a... It's not supposed to be cheerful. It's supposed to be, I'm going to watch this for horror elements. To watch the horror be displayed.
Yeah, it's the horror. And they didn't really, the violence wasn't as crazy as I thought it was going to be. I was thinking they were going to, like, show everything. It was more subdued with the violence. It would, like, you would hear noises, like when he was, like, cutting up the bodies, like, they wouldn't show it. You would just see, like, the shadow of him sawing, or you would hear the noise of the flesh, or he, like, when he would drill in people's heads, it would, like, you would see the drill, and it was, like, you would see the guy's face, and you would see the drill in the back of his head, but it wouldn't show it. But you would hear the flesh turning. But they never really, like, the violence was more subdued. I felt like if they showed the violence, then it would have been really disrespectful. I feel like this was just a biopic. It just really was like a biopic, just giving you the gist of what happened, like toe to toe, like the whole story of this man. Just a straight biopic. It wasn't really like a horror. It wasn't a horror because they wasn't trying to scare you. It literally was just documenting like the story of this man.
I just feel like most people, because we're fascinated by the minds of these people, we kind of glorify them in their own way.
And they went over this in the show.
These stories feel like.
They went over that
this type
in the
of
show.
content, it feels like that. It feels like we're using other people's trauma as the commodity to draw people to come watch and spend money here. And I don't like that.
It definitely is, though.
Because it's not a story that no one's like... Yeah. I'm just saying, me personally, I have a problem with... I purposely don't watch these types of things. Mm-hmm. Like, not only do I not want to see it, these were real people once, but I also, like, just don't want to see it. Like, even if it was fiction, I don't want to see someone getting... A bunch of people getting slashed up and following the main character, the protagonist of the film, is a fucking serial killer. I don't want to watch
dude,
that. Even when they make movies about like black people in the hood, like those, it's great to see these stories be represented. But at the same time, like when you get to these are blaxploitation films. When you really get to it, if it's not being made by a black person, it wasn't black people in the writers' room. It wasn't directors it wasn't producers that were black. It becomes blaxploitation. The commodity is the trauma. I can't get behind even like the concept of it. It's not even about the movie being good or bad. It's just like the concept. Can't get behind it.
Yeah, because like he killed mostly black men. I think he killed 2 white guys. I think he killed 2 Asian guys. I believe so, but he killed mostly black men. And that's where the issue comes in, where it's like, because like I agree with you. This is exploitation 100%, and they probably put this in just to cover their own asses. But there's a whole part of the documentary where they cover the exploitation aspect of it while it was happening. Like when he finally went to jail, he was like a celebrity.
Yeah.
People were like sending him money.
That's what I'm saying.
People were like making comics about him, and they were sending it to him. It was like, bro, can you autograph it? He thought he was the shit when he was in prison. Like that's why. And I don't know if you know how he died, but he thought he was he thought he was hot shit. And there was a black guy who was like, this guy is like prancing around and laughing and smiling like he's the man. And he killed mostly black men. So when he got that dude off in the corner somewhere, he bashed his head in with some weights in the gym.
Jeez, that's a way to go.
And I guess he was already in there for life, so he was just like, I'm not gonna let you killing mostly black folks and now they worshiping you like you some kind of god. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, it was like a big focus of the documentary to talk about like how much people were just like could give a fuck about the victims because most of them were black probably, and it was just, oh my god, this Dahmer dude is so cool, and all these children were dressing up as Dahmer for Halloween, and it was just this big laugh and a big joke. Everybody was just having a good time laughing about it, and it just happened. He just went to jail. So I guess they think if they cover that and they wait 20 years, 20, 30 years, it's cool now to make a movie.
Serial killers are always played, I don't want to say always, it's too absolute. But serial killers tend to be always displayed or portrayed by white men. You know? So...
And it's not only... I believe most of them are American white males in the world, but there are black
media.
Ones.
There are other. They're portrayed as white men.
Yeah.
Like I don't see in movies. I can't name you one movie where the serial killer is a black guy.
There is a famous one I saw in the comments. I think he killed mostly prostitutes, a black one. He got away with it for a long time too.
That's real. That's a real story.
I think that's a real one. Yeah.
Well, I mean like fictional story. Like most of these are
fictional.
Fictional.
Oh
like
yeah, fictional is mostly like
they wouldn't make the main character.
Yeah,
a black
man.
Guy.
But you know, there's like a real fascination with serial killers. Like I know a lot of people, especially like my mom, like she loves like movies about serial killers. I'll be looking at her sometimes, like, you know what I mean? Like, love serial killer movies. Like I don't know what it is. Like, don't get me wrong, I love you though, and it makes me uncomfortable because like, should I, even though it's fictional, should I like this show? Like, should we be rooting for this guy and he's a monster?
That's what they do because they're the protagonists of the show or of the movie. So you always end up rooting for them.
Like at least with Dexter, like he's still a murderer, but he has a code. Like he's like, I know I'm a psycho. I know. Dexter's like, I know I'm a psycho. They all have a code. Like low key, they have an MO really. Yeah. So Dexter's MO is, I can justify my urge to kill if I kill people I know are evil, or I know if I kill them the world is better off. So that's how he does it. But he's still a serial killer. You can't deny it. That's just his MO.
That's always their justification. It's purity or whatever. Their form of genocide.
Joe Goldberg is just like, doesn't even have a code. He's just like, I'm obsessed with a girl. Anybody gets in my way, I kill you. And if she decides she doesn't want to be with me, I'm just gonna kill her. Like that's his whole thing.